in his castle at Pembroke. But to do it, we must stay alive, and for that, regrettably, we must flee the kingdom. And so, on that blustery September night, the plucky Marie Gwyn was surfing the waves towards France, her helmsman riding the high poop deck of the aft castle, and guiding the rudder through the connecting whipstaff one-handed, like a knight steering his charger. My uncle tried to distract himself by giving me a verbal guide to some of the nautical terms for our surroundings, pointing out the companionway, or steep ladder stair that led up from the main deck, the bulwark, that stopped us tipping over the side and gave us some protection from the waves and the scuppers, or drains, which took away the seawater the ocean was hurling at us. There were 2 trusty sailors on board, Bran and Dillon, fishermen from the port of Tenby, who had agreed, no doubt for a good purse of silver, to ferry the outlawed Earl of Pembroke and his family across the English Channel. There we hoped to find refuge at the court of our cousin, Louis XI, King of France. None of us gave voice to our fears out on the open ocean, but I think even the fishermen were anxious. They spent their lives plying the unpredictable waters around the British coast, but never before had to consider the dire consequences of assisting the flight of outlaws. My own murmured prayers to the Virgin of the Sea were as much for delivery from King Edward's agents as from the power of the waves. The rest of our company huddled beneath us in the shelter of the aft castle cabin, most of them puking and praying for the journey to end. The unpredictable motion of the ship had felled them. My young cousin, Sian, and her mother Jane, Jane's brother Evan, the Earl's loyal squire, who was seen to hang frequently and perilously over the ship's side, and Lord Jasper's half-brother Davy, whose habitual cheer was quite extinguished. Lord Jasper and I were fortunate not to suffer seasickness, but I had begged to be allowed to stay up on the open deck to escape the stench of vomit in the cabin. I had not needed Lord Jasper's barked warning to keep well below the bulwark. "Because no one will be able to save you, Harry, if you go over the side." Despite the cold wind, I was warm in my fleece-lined oiled leather jacket, and gradually my instinctive fear subsided, to be replaced by an illogical optimism that whatever the sea threw at us, we would survive. After an hour or so observing the 2 men at work steering the ship, my eyes grew heavy and I curled up on the deck, wrapped my arms around a bollard and fell asleep. I was woken by a monstrous roaring sound, and, just audible through it, my name yelled at high pitch, along with our lord's. "Jesu, Harry, wake up!" The wind screamed in the rigging, and the ship was bucking like a frightened horse. My uncle was alone at the helm, wrestling the whipstaff with all his might. I staggered to my feet, grabbing at the stay to stop myself crashing into the bulwark, then flung my full weight to his aid, wedged beside him, pushing as hard as I could. The bucking eased. "Thank God and all his saints, Harry," Lord Jasper gasped. "I feared we might capsize. Bran went to help Dillon reef the sail. He sensed there was a squall coming, and he was right." I peered through the spray into the dim distance. Dawn was breaking, and in the silvery light on the swaying horizon I could see a ragged black outline closing ominously in. "Is that Cornwall, Uncle?" I yelled. "Land's End," he bawled back. "Push harder, Harry. I must haul the rudder over, or we will be on the rocks." I set my back to the heavy wooden staff and shoved. It shifted suddenly and I nearly fell, but managed to get my feet back under me. Push again, and the ship's bow veered noticeably away from the direction of the cliffs. The sail above flapped as it spilled wind, and the boom tried to throw Bran and Dillon off their perilous perch, where they were still trying to lace up the reef. They yelled with alarm. "Keep pushing!" Fear spiked my uncle's voice. "St. Elmo, save us! Where is Evan when he is needed?" As if he had heard his name, the squire's dark head appeared at the top of the companionway. "The wind is up," he said unnecessarily, stepping over the top and clinging to the aft castle rail. "I thought you might need help, my lord." "Harry has done well," Jasper told him. "But there is an emergency, Evan. Can you haul